Times are shifting and changing right before our eyes. There's what you call triggers and signals. There are some things that trigger change, and then there's some things that are a signal for change, right? When you see a trigger for change, right, it's going to get people thinking of innovative ways to disrupt things. Then you see a signal, it lets you know that things have changed forever. One of the triggers for change is the fact that media is controlled by such a small consortium of power. Signal is all of these independent people, or all of these media people who have these personalities, who have these cult-like followings, where they can reach millions of people, are being let go by these corporations, and these corporations are making a mistake because they're just going to become independent and do their own thing. Then they're going to have to get funded by their community instead of the advertisement dollars, because the advertisement dollars trickle back into this same pot that's owned by the same people that fired them. Then you have new companies that come and say, wait a minute, well, our values don't care. We'll give you the money. Those companies probably not exactly aligned with the values of the people that they are going for, but they say, well, you're my only funding source, so therefore I will go to you. Then that business grows because they're giving their community that advertisement. So now you have, these people feeding businesses that they're not in agreement with the values of, and this is how you get these new industries that grow out. There's an operation to everything that happens when there's cycles and shifts on this planet Earth. But my focus now is, we operate from too much trauma. And if we stop thinking about all our losses, we stop talking about the past so much about, and I don't mean like it's nothing wrong to study history in the past, but what I mean, I'm talking about immediate past. This didn't work out, that didn't work out. Man, you need to take some risks to get some gifts. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Revolutionaries are ready to put their life on the line because they know the reward is a generation that gets to live free. It's about a new culture. I don't get caught up in the bull and the BS. I be out the way until it's time for me to get in the way. I'm at this point where I done changed the culture. I done changed the world in my way. I done show people how to move, gave them the blueprints. I see me in all of you, and that's a good thing. So when people have caught up to the lessons that I've been trying to give, it's not my responsibility to give the same lessons. It's time for me to give the next lessons. It's time for me to talk about the future again. It's time for me to say, oh, we got here now. This is what we're supposed to do. The goal for me is always to lead the charge. If I'm not being innovative, I don't even feel right. Pay attention to the times and what's going on, right? And when there's an opportunity to do something collectively, we'll make it known. But sometimes you have to do things so strategically, you might not even know that's what's happening. You just got to be in the know, though. There's systems of speaking in code, right? When you're talking about systems of speaking in code, it can't say everything obvious. Everybody thinks they're being revolutionary by saying everything so obviously. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to shoot it straight. I'm going to do this. All you doing is letting your enemy know your exact playbook. All they're going to do is limit you because you're using their channels of communication. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. Why are we supposed to be surprised about that? If I have somebody that is trying to go against my agenda, let's say I create a platform, and there's somebody who's spreading anti-black rhetoric on the platform, and they're trying to stop the economic agenda and progress that we have for taking over the world. Oh, I got to demonetize, deplatform, shadow ban, and kick you off, especially if you gain esteem. So think about the opposite effect of that. You're empathetic to my enemy, not sympathetic, empathetic, which means I can understand what it's like to be in their shoes. Because in war, you have to be able to think like your enemy to understand the steps that he gonna make and why he make the steps that he do. But everybody think that they so goddamn smart because they know that this is the thing that triggers the virality, but nothing ever comes from it. And then sometimes building takes 10, 20 years. But we be wanting things to happen in 2 years, 3 years. And if somebody doesn't produce the results that we want to see in a short amount of time, because we thinking for survival, so we don't feel like we're going to survive the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Then we feel like they failed and they're not doing enough. Revolutionaries of the past never even had the resources to bring out their vision. We know that the people are fickle. They with you one day and against you the next. For small things, for little things. All the devil got to do is feed them a little information about your imperfections. That ain't no revolution. That's popularity. If our generation would be smart to move completely different, our generation will move so smart you didn't even know it was happening, but it happened. And by the time it happened, you just realized it shifted. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. We in a different type of time. You looking for complaints, and your complaints have changed because the problems don't even exist that used to be. Now you complain about small things like a spoiled child. Small things like a spoiled child. Most time people ain't even complaining about racism that happens to them. They complain about racism that happens to others now. Black people used to complain about racism that happened to them on a daily basis. Now we complain about observed racism. You got to understand when times have changed and the devil is operating in a different manner. The opportunities have changed. So that means the strategies must change. People be telling me about people that's talking about me. You think I didn't think that was going to come along with it? There's no way on the planet that any black man of any kind, of any ideology will rise in black America. I don't care if he did everything perfect from when he was a child to now, to where there's not going to be opposition, some ideological group, some sort of hate that's going to come and say a million things. That's what we call a part of the program. That's just the way it happens. So you can't add for success and then complain about what comes along with that success. That's why they say you got to be careful what you wish for. You have to be careful what you wish for. Because success always triggers indifference. Because people create these insecurities and they start feeling obsolete. They feel like your success represents their failure because they're comparing where you are to where they are. And the problem is the more time they spend on you, the less time they spend on themselves. So it constantly decreases their position in life. They trying to figure out how to bring you down instead of how to develop their gifts and establish the power within their time to take the opportunities that they have in front of them to build. They're trying to figure out how to, to explain, right, your success, to explain why it works. And of course, it always has to be something insidious because it can't be the fact that you utilize the brilliance of your mind, right, and you are able to accomplish, because then that means that they're supposed to be able to do the same thing, and if they can't do it, then it's a problem. It's not the fact that they don't believe you can't do it. It's believe that they don't know how to do it. And instead of asking you for the education, instead of coming to you for a consultation, instead of coming to you for cooperation, that is something I have a deep understanding of. I even have an empathy for it. I look at them and I say, I understand why you triggered. I understand why you must hate. I understand why you must think that me falling down somehow is going to exalt you into position. It's not true, though. It never has been. How many... It has never been that way. But it is a mentality. It is a disorder. It is a psychological disposition that people have. It has nothing to do with you. I believe in the unlimited power of the human potential mind, for the ability for us to be able to unlock ourselves by tapping into the full spectrum of who we are, living on our edge and our zenith, knowing our gifts, strengths, talents, weaknesses, and having a full assessment of who we are and knowing how to move in complete flow based on who we are. And from there, you become limitless. You can do whatever the hell you want to. So I don't mind the hate that comes with it because that has nothing to do with me. It's just the insecurities that's triggered in others. And it's interesting because people from so many ideological backgrounds wants me to be their savior, wants me to talk about their ideologies. And I'm like, bro, I've already told you who I am. Why don't you rise one up from amongst you to do the job? Build your own. We are in a time of build your own. Create your platform. Create your media. Put money behind it. Put budget behind it. I take all my money and I reinvest in everything that I do. And a lot of people ain't willing to do that. You smoke so many goddamn blunts. You high. You not high level. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are getting drunk, smoking, then trying to compete, man. Go. It's compound interest when you have a clean and clear mind that is able to focus on producing pleasure from the manifestation of your visions. I promise you, I don't gatekeep no information. People just be afraid to ask, so they go watch instead.